Morgana University Health Board. Claire, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Leader. This is a relatively brief report this afternoon, which as you say, is requesting approval to extend the current Section 33 agreement we have for integrated services for adults and older people in partnership with the Health Board for our integrated community resource team here in Bridgend. It would be remiss of me in making this recommendation to you as Cabinet not to highlight the fact that integrated services in Bridgend and the community resource team as part of those integrated services really have been in the jewel in the crown of integration across Wales for a number of years, and these services in the community resource team based out of Tremor but working across the county borough continue to be that jewel in the crown. There's not many other areas of Wales who've got such examples of integrated working, and the importance of this integrated working is that it delivers and is focused on delivering the very best outcomes for frail and vulnerable people, bringing together a range of health and social care professionals with integrated management and leadership, and really has been at the fore of the response during the pandemic to keeping people as safe, well and connected as possible, working in clear partnership obviously with our integrated teams within the localities, the cluster-based teams as well. We remain very ambitious as a service to continue to develop our integrated services, but as you'll note within the paper that some of the work that we had been progressing had been delayed for a couple of reasons. Really, one, the obvious one around the pandemic, because these services have been 100%, 110%, if there's such a thing, operationally deployed and focused during the pandemic, and secondly because we had been waiting for the guidance to come through around the next phase of the Regional Integration Fund. These services have historically benefited from significant investment from the Transformation Fund and the Integrated Care Fund. That guidance has now come through. That the Regional Partnership Board did sign off the plan to be submitted for approval to Welsh Government last week, and we're now working very closely with colleagues in the Health Board and across the Morgana footprint to implement what's called in here an optimal model for integrated community services, but to really take our integration to the next level again, looking at services such as mental health, how we work and with primary care and the GP clusters, the wellbeing offers within localities, to build them into these agreements as well going forward. So I would have confidence that within the timescale of the recommendation we will be able to take our integrated work into deeper and wider remits, but always keeping that focus on improving outcomes for people, because integration is not an end in itself. It's there to ensure seamless services for the people of the county borough. So with all that in mind, I take you to 9.1, which is the recommendation to extend the current Section 33 agreement and to delegate authority to myself in consultation with the Chief Officer for Finance, Performance and Change and the Chief Officer for Legal, Regulatory Services, HR and Corporate Policy to negotiate and enter into a variation to the agreement and to effect this extension if you are so minded as Cabinet to approve. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you for that. Claire, Councillor Gebbie, please.
Thank you very much, Leader. I'm very happy to propose the extension of this agreement. I think the one thing we need to be clear of is the Welsh Government are discussing a national care service, and the national care service should be integrated to the nth degree across all service provision. So I am pleased to see that we're taking steps towards that measure. I'm not sure quite how that's going to fit in with Welsh Government aspirations. However, it is a piece of work that we need to carry on with. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Councillor Gebbie, and of course alongside that our aspirations and our vision around integration is a vision and aspiration we will continue to pursue, and I look forward to receiving the next phase of that, and I think there will need to be that focus on integration in the national care strategy, and of course the details are very limited on what that national care service will look like, and we can help shape that, and I think we'll be making the case that integration is a way of working that should be at the heart of that national care service, so that care is seamless to people that need it. Okay, recommendations have been moved. Do I have a seconder, please?
Second.
Thank you, Deb. Everyone in agreement?
Yep, agreed.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Claire. That was very quick. Well done. The next report we have is a report of the Corporate Director for Education and Family Support, and it is about the delivery of the Family Group Conference service. Lindsay, please.
Thank you, Leader. For the benefit of the recording, I'm Lindsay Harvey. I'm the Corporate Director for Education and Family Support. The purpose of this report, Leader, is to seek approval for Cabinet to suspend the Council's contract procedure rules to enter into a contract with TGP Cymru for 6 months to deliver the Family Group Conference service. Leader, the Family Group Conferencing approach is one that allows children and families to work with parents, carers, wider family support networks to manage the risks related to the care of the children. Leader, since 2019, Bridgend County Borough Council has been working in partnership with the sole provider of this service in the region, TGP Cymru. TGP Cymru is a Wales-based charity that works with children and young people and families. TGP Cymru is currently working with 15 other local authorities on this and other agendas such as advocacy. Welsh Government provided specific funding in relation to the delivery of FGCs across Wales for 2020-2021, and funding for 2021-2022 has been provided from underspends in existing budgets within the Social Services and Wellbeing Directorate. The current contract in relation to the Family Group Conferencing Service with TGP Cymru ends on the 31st of March 2022 with no option to extend. The Council is required under its contract procedure rules to conduct a tender for the provision of this service via a competitive procurement exercise. However, if a procurement exercise were to be run, it would not be concluded by the contract expiry date at the end of March this year. Leader, with the increase in demand for family group conferences in Bridgend, the cessation of this service would pose a risk to the ongoing delivery of essential services to children and young people and their families. And maintaining this provision via TGP Cymru for a 6-month period would ensure continuity of support for families already engaged with the service and continuity for children's social care staff who have attended awareness raising sessions, training and joint working with TGP Cymru. It's therefore proposed that the Council's contract procedure rules be suspended for a contract to be entered into for a 6-month period in order for continued support to be provided via TGP Cymru. Leader, the value of this contract for a 6-month period would equate to some £70,000. During this period, a commission exercise will be undertaken to appoint a provider via a competitive procurement process and in accordance with the Council's contract procedure rules. An earmarked reserve of £70,000 will be utilised to support the 6-month contract with TGP Cymru. The Social Services and Wellbeing Directorate and the Education and Family Support Directorate will seek to identify future funding opportunities to support the service beyond the 6-month period by when the outcome of the procurement exercise will be known. Therefore, Leader, I take you to the recommendations, paragraph 9, where Cabinet approval is sought to suspend the relevant parts of the Council's CPRs and delegate authority to officers to enter into a contract with TGP Cymru for the provision of family group conferences until the 30th of September 2022.
Thank you, Lindsay. Councillor Gabby, please.
Thank you very much, Leader. I'm not sure that you'd want Councillor Smith to speak as well. I don't think I've got any hesitation in extending this contract for 6 months. It gives us some latitude in order that we maintain appropriate procurement. We undertake an appropriate procurement exercise. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Gabby. Councillor Smith, please.
Leader, yes, it's all been said, so I second Councillor Gabby's recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded. Everyone in agreement, please?
Yes, Leader.
Yep.
Thank you, colleagues.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lindsay. So the next report of the Corporate Director of Education and Family Support is on our school admissions policy for 2023 to 2024. Lindsay, please.
Thank you, Leader. So the purpose of this report is to seek Cabinet approval for the School Admissions Policy 2023-2024. Welsh Government School Admissions Code 2013 imposes requirements on local authorities and admission authorities regarding the discharge of duties in respect to school admissions. The local authority is required to consult stakeholders and publish an annual admissions policy for its schools. and Bridgend Admissions Forum agreed a draft school admission policy for 23-24 as per the requirements under the code. The subsequent consultation on the 23-24 policy, including the published admissions number for all schools, took place between all parties between the 21st of January 22 and the 21st of February 2022. Leader, no representations were received in response to the consultation. Cabinet members will note that the relevant impact assessments have been undertaken, and as the local authority's school admission arrangements remained substantially the same as the previous years, the local authority is satisfied there will be no negative impact associated with the introduction of this policy. Therefore, Leader, I take you to the recommendations of paragraph 9.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. Can I just check if any member at all has raised any issue about the school admission policy? As from time to time, I know some members express quite strong views about the school admission policy. And obviously there was an opportunity today for members to raise any issues that they have with the policy. No? Okay. And the second question from me, Lindsay, is just around that support for the children of refugee families or unaccompanied child refugees. I would want you to confirm that obviously the admissions policy is a policy that obviously supports those refugees fleeing war.
Thank you, Leader. So first of all, no representations were received, and secondly, as you were the last point I made with the Equalities Impact Assessment, it's very much an inclusive policy, and we would seek to accommodate all learners where possible.
Thank you, Lindsay. Councillor Smith, please.
Yes, the important point is that there's no material change in the admissions policy, and there have been clarifications. I don't think there's been a really major change for several years, and yes, I'm absolutely certain that once the UK government sees sense and opens our borders to people, to fellow human creatures who need assistance, we'll do everything we can to accommodate them in our schools, and the schools will be incredibly welcoming, as they already have been with previous people who've come along in need.
Completely agree. And to have a seconder for the recommendation, please.
Happy to, Leader.
Everyone in agreement? Thank you, Councillor Gabby.
Yes,
Okay,
Leader.
Agreed.
Thank you, Councillor Baldwin, Councillor Patel. We move on to the final report of the Corporate Director for Education and Family Support, and it is an update on our school modernisation programme plans for Herons Bridge Special School. Lindsay, please.
Thank you, Leader. The purpose of this report is to seek approval to commence a statutory consultation process to increase the number of pupils the school makes provision for to 300, and to relocate the school from its current location at Iwenny Road, Bridgend, to Island Farm, Bridgend. The proposed new school will open from the beginning of the autumn term 2025, that is September 2025. The background to this report, Leader, is set out at paragraph 3. In March 2021, ministerial approval was received in respect to the strategic outline business case for the replacement 300 place Herons Bridge Special School plus residential provision. The proposed new school would be designed based on area guidelines for special schools, thereby providing improved standards of accommodation, would be fully accessible, and all existing backlog maintenance costs would be eradicated. Leader, there are significant additional qualitative benefits associated with providing a new enlarged Herons Bridge Special School. These include an increased number of places for pupils with additional learning needs in Bridgend, a reduction in the number of learners sent out of county, as this practice is both expensive and imposes often significant travel times on pupils, and suitable and sufficient accommodation which best meets the needs of our most vulnerable learners. Cabinet members will note that significant work has already been undertaken at Island Farm to ensure the location would be fit for purpose. While some mitigation work will still be required, the feasibility work undertaken to date demonstrates that the school can be developed on the site. The local authority has also employed third-party consultants to undertake a transport assessment, and while initial findings have been positive, mitigation measures will need to be implemented as part of any new school build. The Corporate Landlord Department is in the process of acquiring the Island Farm site for the proposed school. And it's important to note that should the proposal to relocate the school to that site not proceed, there will be limited financial risk based upon the likely future onward sales value. The existing number of pupils on roll at the current school is 236, In order to increase the number of pupils for whom Herons Bridge Special School makes provision to 300, the School Organisation Code requires that a consultation exercise with stakeholders is undertaken, and this is the first step in the statutory process. If carried through to completion, it is currently anticipated that this proposal will come into effect at the beginning of autumn term 2025. The consultation document will set out the implications of the proposal, and following this period of consultation, a further report on the outcome of the consultation will be submitted to Cabinet to consider the result of that process. Cabinet will then need to decide whether to authorise the publication of a statutory notice, and if such notice were issued, it would invite formal objection during the statutory 28-day period. The financial implications of this proposal leader are set out at paragraph 8. 25 million has been allocated within the 49.504 million capital budget for this project, and Welsh Government intervention rate for this is 75%. It's worth pointing out that contracted inflation and the impact of recent events such as COVID-19 might have a detrimental effect on the scheme cost. However, this would be monitored and reviewed regularly throughout the course of the project. Therefore, Leader, I take the recommendations of paragraph 9, where I seek Cabinet approval to commence a statutory consultation process to increase the number of pupils the school makes provision for to 300, and to relocate the school from its current location at Owenny Road to Island Farm. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you for that very comprehensive but rapid report, Lindsay. Councillor Smith, please.
Thank you, Leader, and thank you, Lindsay. Leader, I think it must be nearly 4 years now since you and I and Councillor Young and officers attended a meeting of Herons Bridge governors and explained our ambition. And I think we made one overall promise to them, which was that we've got an ambition. Our ambition is that we'll have a brand new school which will replicate any facilities they already have at Herons Bridge, and more. And what we want is that this school will be recognised even more widely than it is at the moment as the best special school in Wales. Everything I'm saying now is subject to consultation. Obviously, it's subject to planning and all sorts of other things. But I think we can also have an ambition that Bridgend, with its new campus, could become an important centre for the training of teachers and learning assistants for special education, and I'd like to float that as another big ambition. I've mentioned the college, and I think it's also appropriate and relevant for me to mention that the Cowbridge Road site will obviously become a brownfield development site, probably apart from T Western House, which will probably stay there. That's up to the college. And I spoke, Janine and I and Stuart have considered that there'll be a lot of value if we talk to the college about combining the two sites, the one that they own at Cowbridge Road and the one that we own at Herons Bridge, to provide one large development site. Now, whether or not that building is listed, I don't think, I think I can speak without fear of contradiction to say that Cabinet colleagues and officers would not want to destroy that facade of the building. So we won't make that same mistake as University of Wales Trinity St David's made with the Townhill site, where they flattened a very similarly imposing building, the building which gave women actually the first real opportunity in Wales to train as teachers. So there's a historical loss there. That won't happen at Cowbridge Road. The enlightened way will be to preserve the facade and any internal things which the authorities tell us are worth preserving, and then build housing or whatever it is behind that. So I think this is a spin-off from this move across to Island Farm. The spin-off is we have a brownfield development site near the town centre, which will have the effect of reducing significantly pressure on greenfield space for housing within the future LDP. So I support the recommendations for all those reasons, Leader.
Thanks very much, Councillor Smith. Councillor Gerbie, please.
Thank you very much, Leader. Can I firstly thank the officers, because this is an immense piece of work that they've undertaken to put this report together. I think it's really important that we do undertake a one council approach, so I'm really encouraged by this consultation. We have had significant demands on our service provision throughout the pandemic. It continues to be exacerbated and our numbers continue to increase. We need to ensure that we future-proof our service provision, and this is one way of doing it in an appropriate manner. I think it's also of note that we're looking at individuals that need additional help. I think it's quite right and proper that they should have 21st century schooling provision. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to second the report, Leader.
Thank you, Councillor Gerbie, and it is paramount, you're right, that we provide the 21st century facilities that these children deserve and these children need. They're the children with the most complex physical needs that we have in the county borough. Heronswood School has, as long as I've been a member, been applauded for its excellent care and support and education for the children that are educated at Heronswood Special School, but it does not have the facilities. It does not have the best facilities, and we cannot deliver those best facilities in a historic building. It is simply not possible. So this is the future, and it's a really exciting future, because we've already got the best special school in Wales, but now we want the best facilities of any special school in Wales. And I know that's the ambition, that's the vision for the school as well, and we will give them the best facilities. I look forward to people taking part in the consultation, but as Councillor Smith has reported, when we met with the governing body, they are very protective of their school, as you'd expect them to be, but they're also very excited about the opportunities ahead. And I hope, I'm sure Lindsay can confirm that is still the case. And I look forward to the next steps, and I'm very, very proud actually that potentially this is the last report that I speak to as leader of the council, because we have elections in May, and I may not be the leader in the future, but if I'm not, I am especially proud that the last report that I've spoken to as leader, a public report, has been about our 21st century school modernisation programme, and the vision that we have, and the reality that we've delivered in so many places across Bridgend County Borough. So I just wanted to confirm that that support is still there from the school community for this before we put it to the vote, so to speak. Lindsay.
Thanks, Leader. Happy to confirm that, and happy to confirm also they have exactly the same ambition as us. They want this to be state of the art and the very best for our learners.
And that's what we'll deliver on. Okay, thank you, Lindsay. The recommendations have been moved and seconded. Is everyone in agreement?
Yep, agreed.
Yes, Leader.
Agreed.
Thank you, colleagues. Well, that was the last public report for today's cabinet meeting, and therefore we move on to urgent items. I've had no urgent items that we've been requested to consider, so we will move on to agenda item 24, which is to consider exclusion of the public under the relevant act and regulations for the final cabinet report, and that is on the basis of the application of the public interest test. Kelly, please, as monitoring officer.
Thank you, Leader. I'll just take you through the test. As Cabinet are aware, there is a general presumption that business will be conducted in a transparent and open manner, which the public can access. There are, however, exemptions set out in the Local Government Act, and I can confirm that the information in the next report on the agenda falls within those exemptions. It's therefore a matter for Cabinet whether they, after applying the public interest test, resolve to hear this matter at this time in closed session. Obviously, as matters progress, that information will be made public when it's appropriate to do so. I therefore ask you, Leader, to apply the public interest test. Thank you.
I certainly support the exclusion of the public because of the clear commercial sensitivity and interest of the report. That said, as with every report, ultimately, Kelly, this of course will become a matter of public record. So that transparency will be achieved, but obviously is not possible at this stage because I believe it will potentially harm the interests of the authorities. And everyone in agreement with that, please?
I'm
Yes.
happy to support that, Leader.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. So we will now formally exclude the public. If Andrew can confirm, I do not believe there are any members of the public present, but we'll just check that